remember one time my father took me aside and he said, everything you see around us, this house we have, everything you see in it, I earned that with my own two hands, working 9 to 5 every day. I would get up in the morning, I would go in and, it was my labor that brought you everything you see around you. He said, David, it was horrible. Don't do that. Find somewhere you don't have to get a real job. The thing that people in power fear the most is a population that, has basic security and time. I mean, that started to happen in the late 60s. And look what happened. They freaked out. I mean, you can actually see this. There was, I've talked to people who were in different, sort of ruling class think tanks at the time, and they said there was a lot of discussion, what's going to happen when robots replace all the jobs. The problem is they also had this focus on production, that the factory labor was seen as the sort of paradigm for all labor. It was very macho, males, guys smithing things and banging things and casting iron and so forth was a production line, perhaps, was the basic image. Whereas, of course, most labor is not actually productive if you think about it. You make a glass once, right? But you wash it 1,000 times. Most labor isn't about making things, it's about keeping things the same, maintaining things, nurturing things, giving them an environment in which they can grow, caregiving, caretaking. But then the question is, how do you validate work? Well, you just say you go back to the Puritan idea. Work is valuable in itself. If you're not working really hard at something you don't like, well, you're not a very good person. You're a parasite. So that's how you can have the situation now where people actually think their work is more valuable if they don't get anything out of it. So I think that we need to massively reevaluate this. If we're going to take off again, we need to start thinking about what makes work actually valuable, which is that it's a form of care for other people. It benefits people in a concrete way, and nobody can really decide how that happens other than the people doing it. So I think if we're going to try to have that conceptual revolution, which can overcome this notion of job creators, and that everybody left and right, when they have they're always calling for more jobs and more work. I think because the only way they can see people as valuable is that they're doing something they don't like very much, whether or not there's any need for it. We've caught ourselves in a conceptual trap, and I think only notions of basic income can start us reevaluating what it is we actually value about what we do.